You can't trust words. Watch behavior. Words are polished. Behavior slips out. Attraction isn't loud, it's subtle, controlled, quiet. A woman doesn't announce desire, she adjusts for it. You want to know if she feels something? Look at what shifts when you're near. Her tone changes. Her posture corrects. Her movement slow. She becomes deliberate, not fake, just suddenly self-aware. You didn't intimidate her. You mattered. And when something matters, control kicks in. That's attraction. She listens more. Not because she's passive, because she's paying attention. She's studying. Clocking every reaction. Reading tension, measuring your presence, mental note. She doesn't do this with everyone. Around guys she doesn't care for, she relaxes, fills the space with talk, talks for the sake of noise. But when she feels something, she leaves room, space becomes sacred. She doesn't rush it. You'll see it in small social signals. The way she angles her body toward you without facing you fully. The way her legs still drift closer. The way she steals a glance, not eye contact. Not a stare, just a moment to track your face. She's sniffing the air, seeing if your presence is safe. Not physical safety, emotional. Does being near you feel steady, calm, or chaotic? Watch disagreement. When she doesn't care, she challenges hard. Corrects you, debates you, pokes holes in your logic. It's whatever. There's no emotional weight. But when she's attracted, disagreement gets packaged, smoothed out. I see what you mean, but becomes her strategy. That edge softens, not because she doesn't have thoughts, because she's cautious with conflict. She wants to preserve a mood. That is not politeness, that's emotional investment. Her nervous system gives her away, animation with restraint. Look closely, she fidgets more. She tucks her hair suddenly, her eyes drift and lock, quick smiles, short laughs. They burst out and vanish like sparks. She's not putting on a show. Her body is reacting to a stimulus. Everything gets a little tighter, a little smaller, because attention is now management. When she likes you, she manages herself more. In groups, it gets even sneakier. She won't come up to you directly, but she'll place herself within your orbit. Sits a bit closer, stands where your line of sight naturally lands. Talks to someone next to you, but angles herself slightly toward you. That's not random, that's positioning. She wants to be seen, but not by everyone, just you. Compliments, rare, flirting, hidden. She's not building a stage. She's watching you build one. She doesn't want to be obvious. Obvious makes her vulnerable. Vulnerable feels unsafe early on. That's why attraction doesn't always look like interest. Sometimes it looks like careful distance, controlled warmth, polished silence. And this is the part most men miss. Attraction doesn't demand. It adjusts, it regulates, it tightens presence like a pulled thread. You don't hear it, you feel it. Want to know if she's drawn in. Watch what gets quieter. That's where interest lies. She agrees more. Not because she lost her spine. Because fiction feels expensive now. Around guys she doesn't want, she'll push back freely. Debate for sport, correct without hesitation. But you, she picks battles. Small things slide, harmony becomes the goal. That's not weakness, that's prioritization. She's protecting something she doesn't want to name yet. Her emotions bend toward yours. You're calm, she settles. You're playful, she loosens. You shift serious, she locks in. This isn't mimicry, it's magnetic response. She wants to meet your frequency, not drag you into hers. Attraction creates gravitational pull. She orbits without deciding to. Laughter tells the truth. She laughs quicker around you, but shorter, restrained. Not the belly laugh she gives her friends. This one escapes before she catches it, then disappears. That's nervous energy finding an exit. That's a body responding faster than her brain can filter. Those tiny bursts say everything words won't. Notice what she stops doing. With other guys, she overtalks, fills every gap, dominates airtime. With you, pauses exist. Silence doesn't get murdered. She lets moments breathe. That space isn't awkward, it's shared. She's comfortable enough to stop performing. That comfort is rare. That comfort is attraction wearing a disguise. Compliance shows up quietly, not obedience, ease. She goes along with your suggestions without resistance, open to your plans, willing to follow your lead. Not because she can't think, because she trusts the direction. Friction melts when interest is real. She stops gripping the wheel so tight. Most men expect pursuit, enthusiasm, obvious hunger. Wrong. Women contain desire. They regulate it. Showing too much too fast feels risky. So attraction hides inside restraint. She's not cold, she's careful. Big difference. Sometimes she seems distant, short answers, muted energy, less emotional display. That's not rejection, that's armor. Strong attraction triggers self-protection. She tightens up because vulnerability feels dangerous. She's waiting, watching, testing whether you're steady enough to lead without her falling apart. Here's where most men blow it. They read distance as disinterest. They pull back, retreat. But she wasn't pushing you away. She was calibrating, measuring safety, checking consistency, seeing if attraction could unfold without consequence. Tests come quieter now, subtle, psychological. A delayed response, a small emotional shift, a mild disagreement tossed like bait. She's not playing games, she's probing. Asking without words, does he stay solid when things wobble? Does he chase reassurance or hold his ground? The man who stays relaxed passes without knowing he was tested. The man who reacts explains, chases clarity, locks things down, fails, anxiety leaks through. And anxiety over time erodes everything. She doesn't need perfection, she needs steadiness. Emotional weather will shift. She wants to know you won't shift with it. That's the real test, not your words, not your effort, your nervous system under pressure. Stay grounded there, and attraction doesn't just survive, it deepens, quietly, irreversibly. Investment doesn't announce itself, it whispers. She remembers what you said 3 weeks back, drops it into conversation like it's nothing, references small details you forgot you mentioned. That's not accident. That's attention with intent. She's filing you away, building a database, caring without declaring it. Watch her calendar. She doesn't demand your time, but she clears space for it, makes herself available without chasing. Shows up when it wasn't required. That silent commitment. No pressure applied, just presence offered, consistently. That consistency is the tell. Her emotions get filtered now. With guys she doesn't care about, she vents raw. No editing, pure discharge. With you, she pauses before speaking, considers her words, measures her reactions. Not hiding, curating. She doesn't want to destabilize what's building. Emotional control here isn't dishonesty, it's investment wearing work clothes. She stops mirroring surface behavior, goes deeper, aligns with your values, your perspective, how you see the world. She asks about your routines, your priorities. What drives your decisions? This isn't interrogation, it's orientation. She's mapping herself onto your life without moving in. Subconscious positioning, pre-commitment behavior, external validation drops off. She posts less for attention, seeks fewer reactions from strangers. Our focus narrows, energy consolidates. This isn't suppression, it's natural selection. Attention flows where interest lives, and right now, it's flowing toward you. Men miss this because they expect more. More texts, more affection, more obvious displays. But real investment looks like restraint. She's not rushing, she's protecting, guarding something fragile she doesn't want crushed by speed. Caution becomes care when attraction runs deep. Conflict shifts entirely. She doesn't fight to win anymore, she fights to understand. Tone softens, timing improves. She wants resolution, not victory. That pivot alone screams value. She cares more about the connection than her ego. That's rare, that's real. Accountability appears without prompting. She circles back after tension, clarifies what went sideways, owns her part in friction. Not out of fear, out of respect for what's forming. She doesn't want to damage it, so she tends to it, quietly, deliberately. This is where men sabotage everything. They mistake quiet investment for indifference, push for louder proof, demand reassurance, accelerate pace, force declarations. And in doing that, they collapse the exact space where attraction was breathing, growing, settling into something solid. She's not withholding, she's building, brick by brick. No rush, no spectacle, just steady layering of trust and presence. That foundation doesn't crack under weight. Holds, but only if you stop shaking it to check if it's real. The truth cuts clean. Women don't rush closeness with men they want. They protect it, nurture it, invest through consistency, not fireworks. Once you see that pattern, everything changes. You stop chasing noise. You start recognizing the slow burn, the kind that doesn't explode, just becomes unshakable over time. Quality dies first. Not frequency, she's still there, still responds. But the presence feels hollow. Conversations flatten out. She's participating without inhabiting. Around men she wants, silence has texture. Around men she's checked out from, silence feels like static, dead air, nothing underneath, self-regulation vanishes. That care she took with tone, gone, timing, irrelevant, word choice, careless, she becomes blunt, reactive, unfiltered. Not because she turned mean, because stakes evaporated. When attraction fades, self-awareness follows, no reason to manage herself anymore. Effort becomes transactional, conditional, she shows up when it benefits her, when it's convenient, when it costs nothing. That natural pull to maintain connection, dead. Now it's tolerance, obligation, she's present in body, absent in spirit, arguments increase, corrections multiply, she challenges harder, pushes back sharper. This isn't passion, it's detachment. Work hard, sorde. Disagreement becomes safe when emotional investment drops. Nothing left to protect, no dynamic worth preserving. So she stops softening her edges, her attention scatters outward, more posting, more seeking, more noise directed elsewhere. When attraction was alive, focus narrowed. When energy concentrated, now it sprays everywhere, validation hunting returns. Because you're not filling that space anymore. She's looking for stimulation you no longer provide. She stops leaning in emotionally, no follow-up questions, no references to shared history, no continuity between conversations. Each interaction stands isolated, disconnected from the last. That narrative break is the clearest signal. The story you were building together just stopped being written. This is where men make the fatal error. They try to win her back through effort. More attention, more explaining, more pursuing clarity, more emotional labor, thinking they can argue attraction back into existence. They can't. Attraction doesn't return through convincing. It either reignites through your presence or it dies quietly. The contrast becomes obvious once you've seen both sides. Attraction makes her adapt, makes her careful, makes her invest quietly. Loss of attraction makes her rigid, makes her careless, makes her stop managing the space between you. Around men she desires, she protects, softens, adjusts. Around men she's done with, she asserts, hardens, tests limits without caring about the outcome. Or worse, she stops testing entirely, just checks out, stops engaging altogether. The difference isn't affection, it's care. Attraction creates carefulness, fading attraction creates carelessness. She stops watching her words, stops considering your feelings, stops preserving the mood. Everything becomes sloppy, unintentional, thoughtless. Behavior screams truth before words admit it. You'll see the shift weeks before she says anything, maybe months. Her body language tells you, her energy tells you, the way she manages or stops managing the emotional space between you tells you everything. Learn to read that contrast and confusion disappears. You'll know when she's in, you'll know when she's drifting, you'll know when she's already gone, and that knowledge protects you. Keeps you from wasting time convincing someone who already decided. Lets you move with clarity instead of clinging to hope. Staying attractive is an addition, it's subtraction. Remove what destabilizes you. Stop adjusting yourself every time her mood shifts. Men who stay attractive don't chase emotional weather. They remain anchored, rooted, unmoved by fluctuation. That stability creates safety, not boring safety. Magnetic safety. The kind she can lean into without worry. Emotional consistency does the heavy lifting. Not predictability, not being robotic. Reliability of self. You stay the same man when she's warm, same man when she's distant. Your mood doesn't inflate with her attention, doesn't deflate with her silence. That neutrality becomes her emotional anchor, something solid to return to. Pullbacks don't scare grounded men. They understand space isn't threat, it's breath. They allow distance without matching it emotionally, without retreating into wounded ego. That non-reaction preserves polarity, keeps tension alive. Space doesn't weaken attraction. Panic does. Reaction does. Chasing reassurance does. Men lose attraction when they start editing themselves, overthinking every word, managing perception instead of living authentically, filtering tone, calculating timing, packaging themselves to avoid friction. But attraction responds to realness held confidently, not perfection wrapped in anxiety. Authenticity lands. Performance eventually gets detected. Around grounded men, women relax. They stop testing excessively, stop escalating to measure stability. His steadiness answers questions before they form. Nothing to push against, nothing to provoke. Calm becomes the default environment, not something he manufactures, something he embodies. Effort turns invisible here. He's not trying to attract, he's simply not destabilizing himself. Speaks when something real exists to say. Acts when action aligns with his direction. That selectivity creates weight. Everything he does carries meaning because nothing gets wasted on noise. Women invest freely when a man doesn't need investment to feel whole. His independence doesn't threaten connection, it protects it. She knows she's choosing him, not rescuing him, not completing him, not filling some desperate void. Choice beats obligation every time. Voluntary investment sticks. Forced investment breeds resentment. Coherence matters more than chemistry. Words matching actions. Presence matching pace. No emotional whiplash. No contradiction between what he says and what he does. That alignment is deeply calming. Women exhausted by chaos recognize coherence immediately, and they cling to it. Attraction becomes sustainable through integrity, not excitement, not mystery, not novelty. The man remains solid. Connection stays optional, never demanded, never guilted, never pressured. And because it stays optional, it stays alive, chosen daily instead of locked down fearfully. Most men don't realize attraction erodes slowly, not from single mistakes, from abandoning internal anchors. The moment he centers decisions around her reactions, he hands over control. Attraction leaks out silently, no explosion, no dramatic ending, just gradual erosion of respect. Leadership isn't dominance, it's self-governance. The man who leads himself well doesn't need to control the interaction. His presence sets the tone. His groundedness creates the container. Attraction breathes inside that space, grows without forcing, sustains without grasping, becomes something that lasts because it was never strangled. Attractive men don't decode signals endlessly. They observe patterns, trust what they see, stop hoping for different meanings. Confusion comes from wanting reality to bend. Clarity comes from accepting what's actually there. They watch behavior over time, track consistency, and make decisions from that data. No second guessing, no mental gymnastics. Clarity eliminates internal friction. A man who knows where he stands doesn't broadcast doubt, doesn't ask questions he fears the answer to, doesn't linger where misalignment screams at him. That decisiveness registers instantly. She feels it without him saying a word. Confidence isn't posture, it's knowing, and knowing shows. Women experience clarity as emotional safety, not protection from danger, protection from confusion. No guessing games, no hidden motives, no emotional landmines. His position is clear, his intentions readable. That transparency lets her relax. She doesn't have to detective the situation, doesn't have to manage uncertainty. She can just be. Attractive men rarely explain themselves. Explanation answers doubt. Clarity doesn't need defense. It exists, moves forward, speaks through action, not justification. When a man operates from clarity, questions answer themselves. His consistency does the talking. Over days, weeks, months, proof accumulates without words. Men lacking clarity chase reassurance unconsciously, hunt for signs, fish for validation, need confirmation constantly. But the clear man doesn't seek approval. He offers reliability. And reliability over time becomes undeniable. More convincing than any declaration, more trustworthy than any promise. Around clear men, testing decreases, not because she stopped being curious, because there's less ambiguity to probe. His reactions are predictable in the healthiest way, calm under pressure, measured when tested, self-directed when challenged, nothing erratic to investigate, no chaos worth poking. Clarity sharpens boundaries naturally. A man who knows his standards doesn't tolerate fog indefinitely, doesn't issue ultimatums, doesn't beg for clarity from her. He simply adjusts his investment, pulls back energy without drama. That withdrawal speaks volumes, communicates self-respect without a single confrontational word. Attraction stabilizes here, stops being fragile, stops depending on mood swings, stops needing constant momentum. It roots in mutual recognition. She sees him clearly, he sees her clearly. No filters, no fantasies, no projections. From that honest seeing, connection either deepens or dissolves. Both outcomes feel clean. Most men think attraction dies from mistakes. Wrong, it dies from confusion. Internal fog spilling outward, uncertainty poisoning behavior. When a man resolves his own confusion first, attraction either locks in or fades fast, and fast endings beat slow suffering. Clarity serves truth, not ego, not comfort, truth. The final signal women respond to isn't effort, not mystery, not flawless execution, it's clarity. A man clear about himself, his direction, his non-negotiables. That man doesn't perform attraction, he lives it, breathes it, embodies it without announcement, and embodiment always communicates louder than words, always cuts deeper than explanation, always lasts longer than performance. Clarity doesn't beg to be noticed. It simply is, and being is the most attractive state a man can occupy. When a man stops hunting attraction, everything shifts. No hunger underneath his words, no hidden agenda in his tone, no subtle fishing for approval. That absence registers immediately. His presence lightens. Interaction flows easier. Everything feels cleaner because compensation disappeared. He's not performing anymore, not filling silence to avoid discomfort, not manufacturing conversation to impress. He lets moments exist naturally, unfold on their own terms. That restraint creates confidence you can't fabricate, can't rehearse, can't fake your way into. It's real or it isn't. Women feel this as ease. Zero pressure to respond correctly, no evaluation happening beneath surface politeness, no outcome being engineered. Interaction becomes optional, not loaded with expectation, and optional always wins. People lean toward what doesn't trap them, pull away from what demands too much too soon. Attraction grows strongest when he's least focused on it. His attention aims elsewhere: work, health, purpose, direction. Connection becomes bonus, not center, not obsession, not validation source. That hierarchy restores natural polarity. She feels the difference instantly. He's not empty waiting to be filled. He's full allowing her in. Men still searching monitor constantly, track every reaction, read into pauses, decode tone shifts, analyze timing. The man no longer searching just observes. Doesn't attach meaning to every fluctuation. Observation creates distance from anxiety. Distance creates composure. Composure is wildly attractive. Unshakable calm that doesn't waver. Around this man, women don't feel rushed. No invisible clock ticking. No unspoken pressure to escalate. No timeline imposed emotionally. That patience lets desire develop organically, naturally, without being shoved into premature shape. Attraction needs space to become real. He stops confusing attraction with validation, doesn't need her interest to confirm his worth, enjoys it when present, unmoved when absent. That emotional independence keeps everything clean. No resentment building, no scorekeeping, no silent contracts forming invisibly. Rejection changes entirely. Rejection stops feeling personal, becomes directional. Information instead of injury, data instead of wound. He stays intact through it, doesn't harden, doesn't build walls, just refines his path, moves forward without bitterness, without stories about women, without closing off. This becomes self-reinforcing over time. Calmer he gets, clearer his choices become. Clearer his choices, fewer mismatches he tolerates. Fewer mismatches, more aligned his connections feel. The cycle feeds itself, upward, forward, cleaner with each iteration. Attraction stops being late-night obsession, stops being thing he manages, thing he chases, thing he worries over. It becomes byproduct, side effect of alignment. When attraction is byproduct instead of goal, it lasts infinitely longer, feels infinitely cleaner, costs him nothing of himself. Final stage, he stops trying to create it. It exists or it doesn't. That acceptance removes last trace of internal pressure. No more auditioning, no more adjusting to please, just presence, raw, unfiltered, authentic, and authenticity hits harder than any strategy ever could. She feels it bone deep. Nothing to decode, nothing to resist, nothing to chase. He's not pulling her forward, not holding her back, just standing still in himself. And that stillness becomes everything. The reference point, the calm, the answer she didn't know she needed.